I like to ramble, ramble. I like to ramble, ramble. I like to ramble. Welcome to the innermost ramblings of Fiona. I'm Fiona and I like to ramble. It's actually been the way that I'm learning to get to know myself. I started voice memoing myself and feeling my truth as I speak. Like, does that feel good in my body? That's not quite right. I'll keep talking and then feeling, oh wow, yeah, that is not. So this is where I ramble and process whatever is alive, whatever is staring in me in any given moment, and invite you to listen. Maybe you find some identification. Maybe you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Or maybe you're like, what? That's not my truth. And I hope that you'd seek out your truth as you listen. Listen to your body, listen to your responses, and maybe even do a little rambling of your own. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoy. A disclaimer before we jump into it. These are voice memos that are voice memos. They are infiltrated by wind sounds and cars going past, or me being in the car, or they are not perfect audio. I can't sit down and have the same processing effect. There's often movement involved. I like being outside or standing up, or so my audio is unedited and authentic to the environment that I'm in. Noticing I find this, like if I'm directing a conversation, like a voice memo towards a friend, it brings up, I guess I know the boundaries, I know the audience, I know how held I'm going to be. Whereas this is just vague. The audience is unknown to me. I'm not ready to be fully transparent with all the stuff that I'm going on, and I don't think I ever will be. That's part of privacy and healthy boundaries. But it does mean that there's this element of self-protection, a level of not being able to drop quite as deep as, or speak quite as freely, perhaps. And this is something I'm still exploring. Like, I don't think it's right or wrong. It's just something I wanted to acknowledge out loud to myself and to the listener, you, me. This is still really for my benefit. I just know how beneficial it is to listen to other people's ramblings and find myself in their explorations and not having answers and finding answers and witnessing that process. So I've realized I've made this into like almost a performance or a place where I need to have the answers. And that has never been the point of me voice memoing myself or doing outreach or any interaction, really. It's always the process that has the juice, that has the wisdom. It's the process of letting myself talk and explore and slow down enough to listen to what I'm saying. The process of listening to myself. So I guess just coming back to that and being like, this is still me just rambling to me. I ramble more than I release, and that's something I think I need to perhaps sit with, like the production part of recording, like of releasing a podcast is more involved than I realized it would be. So just trying to, like, I want to keep doing this, but I also want to make it more streamlined and not just one more thing to do, or that I've got pressure on myself to achieve. Like, this is my space to just drop in and ramble. I've also realized I don't have to do one big monologue. When I ramble to myself, like just voice memo, there is a lot of time and space where I'm just gathering my thoughts, where I'm slowing down, where I'm watching myself think before I speak. So I can cut and chop and change, and I don't have to know what I'm going to say. That's kind of the point. It's the exploration, it's the journey, it's the not knowing and finding the gold, finding the knowing. Like, I have all my answers inside me. I cannot look outside of myself and expect to find truth that resonates with me and my soul, because my soul holds my truth. And that's inside me. It lives inside me. I am, my body encases this soul that I am. And I am so programmed to be external. But the point of voice memoing myself has always been to come home, has always been to stop and check in and listen and find that place of inner knowing. I just want to invite you to listen to the birds with me. There's so many bird noises. I realize when I'm feeling overstimulated or overwhelmed, noises that usually bring me joy, or just anything in general that normally brings me joy, becomes this minefield and feels like just one more thing. Like, I notice sometimes the birds turn into this like racket in my head, and I'm like, I should be grateful for this. But when I stop and like breathe, I'm not trying to make myself grateful. It just turns into, like, that bubbles up naturally. When I'm trying to make myself grateful, it just turns into like pushing parts of me down and away. And that's the power of welcoming everything. I did a yoga nidra this morning, and my sankalpa is often like, I am resting deeply and fully, something along the lines of rest. But this morning I felt like I am welcoming everything, all parts of me. I felt really alive and really like key, really, If I'm going to be home in my body, all of me is welcome. If I'm going to be home with me, all of me is welcome. Not if, but when I am home, I welcome all of me. I'm feeling incredibly overwhelmed. I just want it to stop. I just want everything to stop. I feel lost in my own life and like I just want the thing. I can see things or feel things in my mind's eye, and the action taking part, like I just seem to spend, I have the same amount of time as everyone else in a day, and I don't know how to use that productively. I was having a conversation with someone last night, and it's like, I wake up, we were just sharing how we both wake up feeling overwhelmed, and I know that that's my head space, that's something I am creating, and I sit with that, and this awareness is that that's a protection. Like, I'm just protecting myself from the deeper layers, from something else. All of the behaviors that I'm really frustrated about, like my numbing out, my time management or lack thereof, my interactions with food and screen, and doing for the sake of doing. Like, I'm so busy, I don't have time to listen to that inner knowing, because that inner knowing means I would need to dismantle my life. It's like that's the irony of it. Like, I am creating busyness because the life I'm living is not fulfilling, is not my soul, is not what my soul has asked for or came here to experience. Like, there's so much more depth and fullness. And so I'm trying to block that out. But the only way to get clarity and find that knowing is to stop. Like, it's a feedback loop. I'm stuck in this feedback loop. And I get to this space, like I feel like I come to this particular energetic feeling, or this space within me or around me, and this is the glass ceiling. And I was just journaling last night and just being like, what am I terrified of? Just really been sitting with this thought, like, the thing that terrifies me the most is the thing I want the most. Like, they're the breadcrumbs. The terror are my breadcrumbs. And yet I get to this space and just, there's so much congestion, so much constriction, so much tension in my physical body that becomes this thing I'm trying to maintain. Literally, like I'm trying to maintain the tension, because sitting with it, like allowing the space for clarity to come requires me to stop. It requires space. Irony. and I feel everything. I am constantly doing, but not really achieving anything. My mind constantly moving. Yeah, wisdom from the weekend, like last weekend. I just had this knowing of like, and it's been building, and I don't know how to. It's like I know what I need, I know what I want, and I don't know how to stay with that. So like, sit and just stop and let all the noise, all the 5,000 things on my to-do list, that even if I cross 500 of those things off, I add another 600 as I go. Like there's always something. There is always going to be something pulling me away from myself. Can I stay long enough to let that noise play itself out, do its protective thing? Like that's what it's doing. It's protecting me. It's protecting me from ... And I think that's the thing I seek. I am protecting myself from the thing I seek the most, from feeling the terror. So I have this desire. It's like I can witness two parts of myself at play. This part that really wants to slow down and just sit. Like, if it takes 2 weeks or 6 months or a year of stillness, of not knowing, but of sitting and listening without all the distractions that I create for myself, without all the noise and the responding to that noise as though that's my truth, as though that's more important than listening. Because the noise itself isn't inherently bad, it's just that I respond to it like, oh look, I've got this list of things to do, and if I don't do them, I am worth less than if I do them. Like, there's a part of me that's like, why am I holding so tightly onto things I know are no longer serving me? Stories about myself that I know are no longer serving me. And I've been doing this fear inventory exercise, and so often what's coming up for me is I'm not afraid of the thing. I'm afraid of things I don't even consider I'm afraid of, or things I don't even consider being connected to that thing. Like, I did a fear inventory for fun and was baffled to find that fun in and of itself doesn't scare me. It's the layers underneath, like the letting go of control, but the letting go of control of how people perceive me. But more than that, of being witnessed in my body. Like, I still have so much body shame about the shape and the size and the hairiness of my body, and that being witnessed. Like, and I get that I get to choose that as well. Like, I can do a fear inventory around being witnessed, around being seen. Like, what? But 100% yes. So coming back to, like, what happens if I just sat without taking action on the first 5,000 things that I think I should be doing, and really just sat with and witnessed the energy. Like, I know I still play out in my mind all these scenarios and all these best of intentions and all these activities, but it's becoming increasingly clear to me that I'm doing things simply to try and show that I'm doing things. Show myself, like there's this double-edged sword, maybe, I don't know. Like I'm protecting myself by doing things, but I'm protecting myself from knowing what I really want to do. And that's causing this frustration and this sense of overwhelm. Like, bam, there it is. Bam, bam, bam. I am a manifesting generator. My not self theme is frustration. That means I'm not living my design. And the only way to come back to my design is like make the space. Making the space is incredibly uncomfortable. Like just looking at, I have all these projects. I am a starter of projects and the best of intentions. One of the things I'm like, I've collected all these bones, and I want to like clean them up. So I have a whole kangaroo and a whole fox, or most of a fox, all that I could pick up from the ground, and I mean, forever collecting bits and pieces, and I'm like, oh, I can make this with it and do this, and in the moment, I can see this whole, whatever it is that I'm creating in my mind, like rusty bits of this and that tacked together, or welded together, or I could drill holes in it and wire it together like that. I've done sculptures like that and really enjoyed it, and like making beads out of wood, and like I start a thing and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna love it forever, and then realize that maybe I don't even like it. It just was a thing I could do, a one-off project. And I'm like, is that because I'm doing something that I never was meant to do, or I just needed, like, manifesting generators, the point is that I glean the information that I need. I bypass all the steps and take the bits that I need. And I don't know, like, this concept of having our job or our thing, like, I want it to be easy and not have to think about it. Same with human interaction. Like, can we just schedule this? And I'll show up. Like, but also knowing that I need the freedom to play and explore as well. So I don't know how to structure my time like that. I don't know how to structure my life in such a way that there's both, and to find that balance. It's like either I'm just doing daily tasks to manage. Like, I have too many plants to water. Like, too many plants, too many daily, like, okay, I've got kombucha on the go. I'm still making all my own ferments if I can. Like, sometimes I'll make yogurt, wanting to make everything from scratch. As much as I can, and that's good. I learn a lot, but do I need to maintain it? I kind of am like, I've done everything once. I'll do everything once just for the experience, to learn and glean and know how that works, and know that it's not something I want to keep doing long term. But I've got to find something that I do want to, or maybe I don't. I don't know. There's this yucky sort of energy of like, anything I enjoy, I'm supposed to like turn that into something that could be a business, because I'm so depleted on the financial front. That's uncomfortable to talk about, but it's a reality. So, like, sitting with that and then being like, well, that's not the issue. It's the issue of not the inability to receive. Like, receiving anything feels quite threatening. It feels very vulnerable. It feels like receiving someone's friendship, receiving someone's compliment, receiving someone's love, receiving someone's money. They are all energy coming towards me. Receiving a hug, I then become this like, well, what do I have to do to earn it or prove that their time, energy, money, emotion, effort is well spent, whatever it is that's being offered. Like, go above and beyond, but then also don't open myself to receive. So that's really the energy I'm playing with at the moment, is like, how open can I be? And I say open, and then I'm like, oh, space. It's all connected. Like, I'm going around and around in circles. I'm in this freaking loophole. No, not loophole. Feedback loop. And I'm creating that for myself, so I cannot access stillness. Like, I hear and I know, some part of me knows that creating from a place of bliss, from a place of rest, from a place of ease, from a place of flow is possible, is kind of the point. And is the way that I'm going to thrive the most. Like, just pushing and pushing and pushing. I am unraveling generations of push, 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 of ignore the body, of the body is bad, of rest is lazy, of work hard, play hard. Hard is key. If it's not hard, then you're not doing it right. I'm unraveling that. Like, ease feels quite threatening and uncomfortable, like I'm doing something wrong. Like, how do I stay with that sensation? Maybe that's a fear inventory. Ease. I deeply refuse to experience ease in my life because I am afraid of, well, the first thing that comes to mind is being lazy, of copping out. And as I do these fear inventories, I'm realizing, like, I'm actually living out my fear every day. Like, I'm living a life of cop out because I'm not, like, I'm just so paralyzed. I'm frozen. Frozen in a feedback loop, in a matrix that is both created outside of me, but it's created inside of me, and I get the feedback loop reflected back to me from my external world. Bam, bam, bam. So yeah, of course I'm going around in circles. Which leads me to the question of, if I'm going around in circles, and I can see that I'm going around in circles, awareness is the first step. If there's 4 A's to action, I had a coach that would always be like, there's 4 A's of action. Awareness, acknowledgement, acceptance, then action. So I guess I'm at the awareness acceptance stage, like just accepting. Can I welcome this? Can I welcome this crazy feedback loop that I am creating for myself, that I hate, that I want out of? Can I accept the fact that I hate it, that I want out of it, but that I keep engaging with it because some part of me likes it? And feel all of that. Like, feel the frustration, feel the sadness, feel the grief, feel the terror, feel the feelings of utter failure, of wasting time, of wasting my life, of waste, and then of scarcity, and then of hoarding. Like, to look at how much space I do not have available to me because I've filled it with things. So hoarding, like I keep everything. If I've got an idea, I'm like, well, at some point I might have time for this. But again, a conversation last night, it's like, I keep things for when I don't feel so overwhelmed, for like when things calm down. When things calm down, well, that's an internal state, not an external state. And again, I'm in this feedback loop where I'm creating chaos. So I'm creating, it's not even chaos, it's just I'm creating this sense of overwhelm. I'm addicted to it. Like, addicted to being in a hurry, addicted to checking my screen 50 times. I'm addicted to, like, not presence. And that requires me to sit with the discomfort that inevitably will and does come up when I guess that's what I started talking about. Like I know I need stillness. I know I need to stop and let the noise play itself out without responding to all the messages that the noise tells me. And again, it's like the stories that I have about myself about being unable to offer anything to the world. Like, I don't have a genius. I don't have something I'm good at, which is not true. I am good at a lot of things. Do I want to be boxed into having to offer them to the world? I don't know, but I feel like that's a question that's coming from scarcity and fear, rather than, if I'm in my flow, I'm going to be able to do something that feels good, that lights me up, rather than is like, just one more thing I've got to do in a day, which is how I live at the moment. Like, the only way to change that, to learn a new way, to learn a different way, is to sit with the discomfort. Is to choose to both feel it and acknowledge it and accept it and welcome that some part of me really does believe I'm inept, that I have nothing to offer, that I don't really know what I'm talking about, that I can't teach anyone anything, that I'm not qualified, that I am not qualified. Hooey! That I need to know what I'm doing, that I need to feel different about myself, that, like, there's just this long list, but all of those things are welcome and are part of my truth, but not the whole truth, and they're not my truth in the sense that they're not who I am. They don't define me, nor do they have any bearing on my soul and what my soul has intended to come here and experience. Like, what happens if this I want to say bipolar, but it's not this or that, it's both and. Like, I am all of those experiences. That is part of the human experience, is to err and doubt and question one's existence and place in the world, I suppose. But no, I believe. Magpie. And to come to a place of acceptance of my own light, my own brilliance, and my own magic, and my own, like, I've touched those places, those liminal spaces within me, those energetic frequencies, and they feel freaking amazing. And all of a sudden, the energy that I don't have, or that is drained by doing what I'm supposed to do, like, it flows, it's easy, it really is that place of ease and flow and bliss. Like, that's the goal. But I don't know how. Oh, that's my story and my defense. But I don't know how to get there and stay there. It's just the willingness to accept that I'm not there yet. Like, it comes much more easily when I'm not fighting all the parts of myself, but welcoming. I don't have to change anything. What happens if I'm already all the things I'm trying to be, trying to find, trying to, like, again, it comes back to just slowing down enough to be like, I already have it all. I already have it all. So, I still feel like this is a thing that my mind wants to get and then get in the way of. But it's not a mind thing. It's a body, heart. Like, I feel these informations, these stories in different places in my body. So the not enough thing very much comes from my head, and the magic, beholding my own magic and my own confidence and my own story and owning it and living truth. That's a full chest experience. It's a much more, it feels chesty and grounded and light at the same time. It allows me to breathe deeper. Like, believing, listening to, engaging with the loop in my head gets me out of my body. My breath is short. I cannot play because everything's threatening. And this relaxing of my body, like, relaxing my body changes how I think even. Like, the stories that are on loop, I'm not fighting or freezing. I'm not frozen, relaxed. I'm open. I'm creating that space for play and presence, and I just feel different. That's really powerful to observe. So I'm going to leave it there and finish with some breaths. Breath work has been this notorious place where I leave my body and it's just one more thing to do and one more reason to panic. But I want to invite you to breathe with me if that feels good. Just in and out. And in and out. And notice one place you can soften. One place you can welcome. And one place that could either trigger you into frustration or one place, or back into connection with yourself? Is that a noise that you're like, oh, freaking stop? Or a list or a thing or a mindset? Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you. And there you have it, folks. Another episode of the innermost ramblings of Fear in the books. Thanks for coming along. Please like and subscribe and share and do all those things. And if you want to find me on socials in between time, you can find me at _innermost_ramblings on Instagram, or check the show notes for other ways to connect. Until next time, have a brilliant, beautiful day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, whenever you're listening to this. From my heart to yours. Bye.